Sure if I'm ready for the city life.
I had a lot of concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, you're at 11th, so you're gonna go up here and you're gonna turn on I Street.
I Street. Okay.
All right?
Josh was able to point me in the right direction, and then he headed off to his meeting, and we headed down to lunch.
All right.
Okay.
Love you, dear.
If you look down that street, you can see the White House, can't you? You see the big white building down there?
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, June 1st. Yay! It was a long weekend. I hope you had some time to spend with family and friends, and as well as to remember those that have fallen while they were on duty with the military in the United States. Happy Memorial Day to those who served and have lost a loved one who served. All right, we had some stuff that was happening on Instagram that I shared, and I wanted to bring it to my YouTube because that's what I do. If you're not following me yet on Instagram, make sure that you do. I share a lot of information there and bring it over here for videos. So remember how there was this conspiracy happening where the Duggars believe that Joe Biden and his administration is out to get Josh Duggar. One, because they're apparently going to thwart Sarah Huckabee Sanders' run for governor, and two, because I guess the Bidens hate the Duggars. I didn't even know that was a thing. But conspiracy theories abound. I found a connection that might be why the Duggars are so upset about these charges and the court case. So, on the bond hearing, we saw a magistrate give Josh bond, and a lot of you guys were freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, if this Judge Comstock is his judge for the hearing or for the trial, this is not going to go well. How are we going to move forward? Oh my gosh, he's going to get off. Jim Bob's going to get him out of this again, to which I say, fret no longer. There is a different judge that will be handling this case who is very familiar with the Duggars. And it's not necessarily going to be good for Josh at all. The good news is that in the federal court system, the judges that handle the initial arraignment and bond hearing are typically called magistrates. And then once they moved to the trial, it is then handled by the judge. The judge in this case is someone who was appointed back in 2014 by Barack Obama. So the judge who was appointed in 2014, his name is Judge the Honorable Timothy Brooks. He is a nonpartisan judge, as most of them are. He was appointed back in 2014 along with another judge. And he has done a lot of work on a lot of these cases related to this coalition that brings down guys like Josh, whether they are purchasing this type of content, whether they are making this kind of content, or whether they're trafficking the people involved in this kind of content. And his sentencing that he's done in the last few sentences that I've seen have been pretty stiff. On average, around 7 to 10 years for individuals that come in on charges like Josh. I know it's not the 40 years that a lot of you guys are hoping for, but we'll have to see how this all plays out. The judge in this case actually has experience with the Duggars, and that's because he is also presiding over the daughters. That's right, Jill, Jessa, Ginger, and Joy all filed a lawsuit against In Touch, and that was dismissed, but they are still moving forward with their lawsuit against the city of Springdale, the county of Washington, and 3 people that work for the county of Washington and the city of Springdale who released documents related to a 2006 investigation of Josh into felony SA of the girls. They're claiming that this was a violation of their rights and that they were not supposed to release this because these were private minor documents that should have been under seal. Another judge, like totally unrelated in this, actually expunged these records and did get rid of got rid of all of this in the legal system, so no one would be able to actually request these documents moving forward. The judge is actually the judge in that case. So Judge Brooks actually has been on that case since it started. He actually just ordered a trial for this to start back to get started in December. So the girls are suing all of these different branches, and that has been ongoing. Nearly all of the claims have been dismissed, including every federal claim. The only claims that remain are 3 state claims, which city and the county and the officials tried to have dismissed, but Judge Brooks said they have had this case forever, so we're gonna try it. Now, in regards to Judge Brooks and Josh, he actually dismissed a case that Josh brought up against the city of Springdale. So he doesn't have a lot of sympathy, it looks like, for Josh, and he is going to move forward with the case for the Duggar girls. So this is someone who is keenly aware of Josh in regards to multiple lawsuits that he's also on the bench for other situations. So I'm thinking, and as I'm computing this all together, this is how my Jim Bob brain would think. Obviously, since Judge Brooks dismissed the claims against Josh Duggar and then also has dismissed a lot of the claims against his daughters and was appointed by Barack Obama and Joe Biden, therefore, since Joe Biden is now the president, and even though these claims came in under President Trump, and because President Trump was the messiah of the Duggars, they even put his name in their lawn, Jim Bob is unlikely to actually blame Trump for anything or his son, instead put all the focus on the Bidens and say that the Bidens are out to get them because, duh, they're the ones that put this judge on the bench who hates his family, allegedly. Now, whether or not this matters in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter whether a judge is necessarily appointed by a Republican or a Democrat, even though Democrats tend to oftentimes appoint judges that they feel are a little bit more liberal in their judicial decisions. Judges are required by law to be nonpartisan and just look at the facts of the law when they make their decisions instead of based on politics. So even though there's this Biden conspiracy because Biden was literally the vice president when this judge was put on the bench, it doesn't necessarily mean that Biden had anything to do with this. In fact, again, Trump was in office when Josh and the raid happened. So what does this mean for Josh? Well, it means that he's going up against a judge that already knows who he is, which, knowing that he's tried to sue the city for an investigation into his previous actions, is definitely not going to help Josh, because Josh literally admitted in that document, that they released these documents about this felony case. And knowing that the judge now knows about this felony case, that can be used in a lot of ways, I think, as extenuating circumstances. In fact, at the bond hearing, the U.S. attorneys actually brought up Josh's admission to his parents and his parents' subsequent admission to police that he had done things to 4 of his sisters and a babysitter. So knowing that he has extenuating circumstances and has admissions of doing things to minors could actually not be good in Josh's favor and could increase the sentencing, because he wouldn't be considered technically a first-time offender, or it would be mitigating circumstances. So Josh will be in court in July with a Barack Obama appointed judge who already knows all about the Duggars, who's handling his sister's case. Now with his sisters, their trial is scheduled for December. Again, all of the claims against the federal claims, which was the big one, was a violation of civil rights, were dismissed by the court. So Anna's claim and her big conspiracy theory isn't coming from nowhere, but obviously in the Duggar family, I would think it might be easier for them to blame someone like Biden, obviously, because he's a Democrat and they hate Democrats and they take away rights that they want, and that's what they believe. So it's easier for them to maybe blame Biden than it is to look into what Josh's responsibility was in all of this. At the end of the day, the only reason Josh is in this situation is because he allegedly downloaded some of the worst CSAM in the history of all the investigations that the HSI investigator that did this specific case claimed. And because of the severity of those images, he's facing a lot of time. And so my thought would be, you know, instead of blaming the judge, instead of blaming Biden, let's maybe blame Josh. But he's innocent until proven guilty. All right, you guys, that's all I have for right now. Bye, guys.